Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and this is my Educational Leader and Advocacy interview. The person I decided to interview was named Mariah Reed. She is the lead supervisor and playground supervisor at Penny's Play Place, which is my internship site. Penny's Play Place is the only indoor playground area in our small community, so it frequents a lot of visitors and it's really unique in its offerings. And we did our interview on Monday the 7th. Some of the roles and responsibilities that Mariah is involved with. Firstly, her background. She has a psychology degree she recently graduated with a minor in child development. She spent 5 years as a daycare assistant before joining Penny's Play Place and has now been there 3 years as a lead playground supervisor. The roles and responsibilities of this position include ensuring physical and emotional safety of all the students during play experiences, promoting an inclusive environment where every child, regardless of their background, ability, or identity, feels welcomed and respected. They build relationships with students to foster trust, belonging, and social emotional development. Additionally, they support inclusive play by helping students find ways to participate in games and activities that reflect diverse interests and abilities. It is also their responsibility to uplift diverse voices and perspectives by encouraging empathy, kindness, and respect, and stay informed about best practices in equity, inclusion, and child development to continuously improve supervision strategies. Mariah's advocacy style. So firstly, her area of advocacy is the cultivation of inclusive and diverse play experiences, fostering developmental growth and skill building. She explained that she likes to lead by example, being present, approachable, and consistent in how she treats every student. A couple examples she gave me of this were stepping in when she sees exclusion or unfair treatment, guiding students toward empathy and inclusive play, and building trust so students feel comfortable being themselves and speaking up if something doesn't feel right. An example of a leading style. So an example that Mariah shared with me where she utilized these skills. She said that one day she noticed a group of students repeatedly excluding a classmate from a game, using subtle language about who fits into the game and who doesn't. And instead of simply redirecting, she gathered the group and asked them how it feels to be left out and made sure that everyone has a chance to be included. Additionally, in order to continue fostering these ideas, she created a short activity where students worked in pairs with someone new and shared something they liked. This helped them open up conversation and change the dynamic on the playground. Utilizing empathy, education, and gentle leadership, which were her core characteristics of advocacy, she was able to shift everyone into a way that uplifted the group as a whole. Here I've included a picture that I took at Penny's Play Place of a few students playing. Data-driven decision-making. So a couple of the ways that Mariah uses data-driven decision-making within her area of expertise is tracking patterns of exclusion or isolation within play areas and how to remedy them. Additionally, she monitors types of play and engagement in the areas of improvement and success in all these different topics. She evaluates the impact of new inclusion activities or workshops, and she documents conflict trends to create strategies for improvement. Here's an example of a data-driven decision-making process that Mariah explained to me through our interview. She said earlier this year that she began noticing patterns in which students were sometimes sitting out during recess or being left out of group games. She was able to track across a few weeks to see if there were patterns related to specific students' activities or times of day and why these students were being left out specifically. The data that she collected helped her realize that students with language barriers and quieter personalities were being unintentionally excluded from more fast-paced or competitive games. So for the data, she recorded this observational data in a notebook. She then utilized this data to analyze the repeated trends and utilize this to propose a solution. And ultimately, the results were equal participation between all students and maintaining an inclusive play environment. Learning experiences Mariah provides for others. Emotional development. So a few learning experiences that she provides under the emotional development category is she observes and participates in inclusive play, allowing children to consider others' feelings. She fosters inclusive activities, often requiring children to talk, listen, and work together, especially across differences in ability or experience, which encourages collaboration. Additionally, she helps children gain confidence when they are supported to engage and feel valued, and all students learn to adapt and participate in cooperative play. Another topic of learning that she helps facilitate within the area is appreciation and awareness of diversity and equity. She helps the students foster these ideas by exposing them to different cultures, abilities, languages, and perspectives through inclusive play opportunities, and the kids are able to celebrate what makes everyone unique. Students learn the difference between getting what they want and what they need, and they also learn to reinforce kindness, respect, and compassion as daily habits. Assessment and evaluation of learners. Mariah uses observational assessments to measure success of the learners involved. In order to do this, she assesses who participates regularly and who doesn't, how students interact, are they modeling inclusivity, do they collaborate, do they resolve conflicts constructively, emotional cues like if they're confident, frustrated, isolated, or they're just happy and content and building positive relationships, communication skills like are they playing with others and listening well, and growth over time. Has a shy child begun to join into games, or has a child learned to use words instead of hands in conflict? So my advocacy area is bridging achievement gaps in educational settings. Achievement gaps don't just start in the classroom, they're often rooted in social, emotional development, access to support, and belonging, which are all cultivated through play. I've learned that on the playground, inequities can show up in who feels included, who gets to lead, who builds confidence, and who participates in communication and collaboration with others. These are leading causes of achievement gaps. By ensuring all children are playing responsibly and respectfully with each other, we can better support and encourage children to succeed, especially those from marginalized communities, which are often lacking the necessary support they need to succeed. Inclusive play opportunities can help close achievement gaps. Advocating for others. So there's a few different areas Mariah and I discussed where she was able to advocate for others in our community. First and foremost, she's advocating for the students that she works with on the daily. She helps speak up for students who are often overlooked, whether it may be due to language barriers, disabilities, social challenges, social backgrounds, or cultural backgrounds. She facilitates student leadership opportunities, especially for those who might not always be chosen first. She advocates for families of the community by building relationships with the caregivers, especially those who may feel less connected due to their cultural or social backgrounds, which is another way that they can help bridge achievement gaps here. And encouraging diverse family involvement, because these students need every type of support they can get to succeed. Additionally, she's advocating for the school community because she celebrates diversity through activities, events, or peer-led initiatives that honor different backgrounds and experiences. She's also pushing for resources and funding, including equipment, training, or additional staff support that helps level the playing field, literally and figuratively. So we often have cultural reading groups at our internship site where we share different cultural diversity-based stories for the different diversity months that it is. And in order to build resources, we have donation events, sometimes at our local Starbucks where I work, and kind of get the community participating in these areas. My final thoughts. So this interview was extremely powerful in its entirety to me, as it highlighted the importance of understanding that advocacy doesn't happen in large-scale meetings or policies. It happens in small, consistent moments where children are given space to feel seen, heard, and valued. Not only can inclusive play opportunities build relationships, but it's important that they build developmental skills, cultural values, and this aids in my chosen advocacy area of bridging achievement gaps. When students feel connected and safe in play, that sense of belonging carries into the classroom and beyond. This interview with Mariah allowed me to reflect and deepen my understanding of how belonging fuels academic and personal success, and how everyday actions on the playground can create lasting change within a community. Finally, here are my references for the pictures used. Thank you so much for listening and for your time.